amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remember blessed.
I'm not getting you clearly. Can you take that all over again, Namusa?
I was just asking you if you understand and identify what we're dealing with. Are the terrorists expanding their frontiers? Are we seeing a change in tactics? Or is crime evolving?
Yes, as a matter of fact, what we are seeing is a change in tactics by the belligerents. All right? And I think it is important we get to know by now that this isn't an enemy body of troops that we would want to undermine by every sense. They have always told us what they want to do in advance, and they go ahead and do it, and they achieve it, and they walk out with impunity. They've done it not once, not twice, not thrice. Now they have told us they are coming after our president. If we take it with a pinch of salt, definitely we will suffer the repercussions. If we take it as a warning and work towards it to ensure it does not happen, fine and good. But I must advise we don't treat these guys with any sense of levity. Otherwise, we shall pay dearly for it.
You know, the response of the federal government concerning the issue of the kidnapped Abuja, Kaduna train victims. Government says, look, the military knows what it is doing. It has the capacity. As a matter of fact, government says it has provided everything that is required in terms of morale, equipment, and all of that. But what do you think is missing in this war against terrorism?
Well, if only I get it clearly, the missing link I would say is that we still have some level of deficit emanating from intelligence operations. It is either intelligence is right, and they are conveying to the appropriate authorities the relevant intelligence or information they are getting from the field, which of course they get crystallized into intelligence and pass on to appropriate authorities. And maybe the authorities are not making any use of such intelligence, or something else is wrong. I'm afraid we have serious issues with intelligence. All right? Before we begin to talk of the overflogged issue of manpower and what have you, which some of us have always, we've become apostles of a manpower issue now in the national security sector. Okay? Besides this, so much has been said. It's just that it has come to our understanding, for those of us who are experts, availing advice. It has come to our own understanding that we seem to be talking to a bunch of leaders who are deaf and dumb. Okay? They are not adhering to advice. They are not taking our advice. They are not trying to see how you can be of assistance or help in any way. And for every passing day, we are sinking as a nation.
Colonel Stanlabo, the question really is, you talk about intel. You talk about intel. Is the problem the lack of it or the refusal to use intel when it comes in the case of Kuje and even the Chibok situation?
Frankly speaking, Ngozi, I don't know where to place it. I must be frank with you. Is it that intel is forthcoming and it's not being used by appropriate authorities? Or it's not coming at all? But if you ask me, I would say I think intel is forthcoming. It's just that those who have at the political strategic level of power don't seem to probably know what to do with it. Or it has been ignored deliberately for reasons that are best known to them. The right question is, why have we been fighting this war for nearly 12 years and we don't seem to be making any impact? What is wrong? What is happening? Is it deliberate? Something is wrong. We must ask ourselves certain questions. We are not all. Certain elements at the top probably know what is happening and are deliberately not wanting us to win a war. Simple.
Are you saying there's complicity at the top? And it just reminds me of what a self-acclaimed bandit said, you know, that insecurity has become a business that everyone benefits from, including the government. His very words.
You are heading towards, you are already walking towards my answer or my response. The whole damn thing has become a bunch of business in which everybody is benefiting from. Everybody now, I mean all stakeholders, okay, who are involved in the execution of this war, be they the political arm or whatever. And when I mean everybody, I mean right from the political strategic level down to the tactical level. Everybody is benefiting. Everybody. So nobody wants this thing to be over. Some of us, including myself, are gradually drawing our own conclusions to be that simple.
And let me ask you.
So we have a prolonged Christmas Day and let the rice be available for us all as kids to eat. Simple.
Retired Colonel, where will you place the efforts of the the multinational joint task force and the issue of proliferation of small arms and light weapons? What role would this play in the situation we find ourselves at the moment?
Talking about proliferation of small arms and light weapons, it's an area that I really take a lot of interest in. I have done a paper on it. I have done a discussion paper on it. I have submitted or distributed it to nearly every appropriate quarters on what I think the solution should be, and so on. Why is it that up till this moment we, as a nation, we have problems in raising a small border unit constituted of full-fledged combatant elements, okay, with their air wing and what have you, that would really man our borders and take charge of our borders? I've had a stint at the border as a young officer growing up way back, all right, where some of us had the cause to agencies. And we saw the rot that goes on at the borders. Falling back on such experience, some of us have sat down to put together some piece of advice, even with a discussion paper following. Nothing had, not even an acknowledgement, nothing. I weep for my country. I really weep for my country. We've never had it this way. I can't believe this is Nigeria.
We do feel that, really. We do feel it, just like every other Nigerian. Colonel Stan Labo, retired. Thank you so much for joining us. A very sobering thought there that you've left.
I'm greatly troubled, greatly worried that the prediction some years ago that Nigeria will become a failed state has actually come to pass. Some of the indices of a failed state are when non-state actors possess equal or stronger or more potent power than a legitimately constituted government. Power of violence, instruments of coercion and violence, as we are saying now. That's one of the greatest signs of a failed state. One of the other greatest signs is when the failed state is looking like amoeba, amoebic. That is formless, shameless. In the secondary school, we were taught biology. I still remember Spirogyra. I still remember Paramecium, Candantu, and Amoeba protus, and then Spirogyra, a green filamentous algae. What we are seeing in Nigeria is that the country itself has become amoebic, in which case formless. It's in a state of void, the type of void that God beheld before he breathed life into everything that came.
Chief,
So
people are
we are
saying the
really
country is
not
failing.
we are really not congealed as a state.
People are saying the country is failing. Are you categorically stating that it has failed?
It's failed. It's failed. Listen, when from Kagara to Kankara, from Jangebe to Chibok to Dapchi, people to Kaduna, people are being picked up like lizards every day and being killed or taken hostage or kidnapped.
You, in these perilous times, continue to speak up. Heavens will not fall. Like one person ever once told me, if the heavens fall, it will fall on all of us. But it's never going to fall. Nigeria nationhood, cohesion, do we have one? I know we don't have one. Nigeria is still yearning for nationhood. After her independence since 1960. Perhaps one of the greatest fault lines we have is the way itself by which we came together, cobbled together by Lord Lugard on the 1st of January 1914. Perhaps one of the most or the strongest fault lines is the way we were even named when we were formerly called Royal Niger Company Protectorates, and one young lady felt that name was too long, and she wrote an article in the London Economic Times on the 8th of January 1897. I said we should call that country, that area around the Niger area, which was how we came by the name Nigeria. We didn't really agree that we were going to be one country. The Berlin West African Conference of about 1844 to 1845 merely partitioned West Africa amongst the Portuguese, the Germans, the English people, and all that. So it was not as if we agreed to come together as one nation, which is why everyone is still suspicious of the other one. We already had the Hausa city-states, the Igbo city-states, the Karen Bonu Empire. Remember, we had great kingdoms, the Oyo Empire, the Benin Empire. Remember the great role of Oba Ovorami Nogbaisi, the man who told the British, don't visit Benin during that holy month in December of 1897. And the British said they must visit. And of course, the guards who were in charge of the moat seized them and killed them. That was what led to the infamous Benin punitive expedition of 1898, February, led by the British, who led 1,200 troops. Didn't we know about people like great kings like Oba or like King Jaja of Opobo? They were already there. Moremi, Queen Idia. So we had our set ways of life, and we were happy before the British came with their mercantilism, holding the Bible in one hand, and of course, slave trade on the other hand. A trade that was to ravage us for over 500 years before people like William Wilberforce, Thomas Clarkson, even our own Olaudo Equiano stepped in. And before the great American, Abraham Lincoln, on the 19th of November, 1863, abolished slave trade, for which, of course, he was promptly executed in 1865. So the problems have been there. That is why no Nigerian believes I am a Nigerian. If you ask me, I will say I'm from Ijukwe, a small village near Agenibode, in Esako, East Local Government Area of Edo State. Because unlike what President Kennedy once told the Americans, think not of what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Nigerians ask themselves, what has Nigeria done for us that we are in turn expected to do much for her? That is why go around Abuja or Lagos or any city in Nigeria on Sundays and you see the various town unions, because the people believe more in their town unions, in their village enclaves, than that contraction called Nigeria, which is practicing unitarism rather than federalism. And my bishop brother narrated the history very well. The American Revolution, the independence of 1776, and of course the Philadelphia Convention between May and September 1787, where they decided to have a more perfect union with 50 confederates coming together. They were already confederates, but they needed to have a more perfect union. It was that convention, at that convention, that they agreed on certain irreducible minimums of government: federalism, presidentialism, the doctrine of separation of powers, which had earlier in 1748 been popularized by the great French philosopher Baron de Montesquieu. It was at that conference or convention they agreed on the doctrine of judicial review. It was at that conference that Washington himself was thrown up, who became the first president of America. It was at that conference you had the great federalists like Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, great Americans that wrote the American Constitution, which today has just about 27 amendments and about 7,891 words, unlike our
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.